In a land far away, nestled in the heart of Persia, a story unfolds filled with courage, faith, and divine purpose. The city of Susa bustled with life, a vibrant center for trade and culture. It was here that King Xerxes ruled, a powerful monarch known for his wealth and lavish banquets. The people of Israel, having been exiled from their homeland, lived under Persian rule. Among them was a young Jewish woman named Esther, who was about to become a key figure in delivering her people from danger. Esther was beautiful and kind, raised by her cousin Mordecai after losing her parents. Mordecai, a devoted man, instilled in her the importance of their Jewish heritage and faith in God. But their lives would soon change forever. The story begins when King Xerxes, in a fit of anger, banished his queen, Vashti, for refusing to display her beauty at his feast. In search of a new queen, Xerxes ordered a nationwide search for the most beautiful maidens in the land. Among them was Esther, whose Jewish identity remained hidden at Mordecai's urging. As Esther entered the royal palace, she was surrounded by luxury but also uncertainty. She underwent a year of beauty treatments, preparing to meet the king. During this time, she remained humble and obedient, drawing strength from her faith and the support of Mordecai. When the day finally arrived for Esther to present herself to Xerxes, she captivated him. He chose her to be queen, and her life transformed in an instant. But as she donned the crown, a weight of responsibility descended upon her. Moral lesson: sometimes, we are placed in situations beyond our control. It is essential to trust God's plan, even when the future seems uncertain. Days turned into months, and Mordecai often watched over Esther from a distance. One day, he overheard a plot against the king, a conspiracy among two of the king's guards. Mordecai quickly informed Esther, and she relayed the information to Xerxes, giving credit to Mordecai. The plot was foiled, and the king's life was spared. This act of loyalty was recorded in the royal chronicles, a seemingly small act that would later bear great significance. As the story unfolds, a man named Haman entered the scene. He was proud and ambitious, promoted to the highest office in the kingdom. Haman demanded that all in Susa bow down to him. But Mordecai, a man of faith, refused to bow to anyone but God. Haman was furious when he learned of Mordecai's defiance. In his rage, he plotted to annihilate not just Mordecai but all the Jews in the land. Haman deceived the king, manipulating him into signing a decree that would bring destruction upon the Jewish people. Moral lesson: anger and pride can lead to disastrous decisions. It is important to seek wisdom and humility in our actions. When Mordecai learned of Haman's decree, he was devastated. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and cried out in the streets of Susa. Esther, hearing of her cousin's distress, sent a servant to find out what was wrong. Mordecai told the servant of the decree and urged Esther to approach the king on behalf of their people. Fear gripped her heart. Approaching the king uninvited could mean death. Yet, Mordecai reminded her of her unique position. "Who knows," he said, "but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." His words stirred something deep within Esther. She resolved to act, knowing the risk involved. She gathered her courage and sent a message back to Mordecai. "Gather all the Jews and fast for me," she requested. "I will go to the king, and if I perish, I perish." Moral lesson: true courage often requires self-sacrifice. Sometimes, we must step out in faith, even when the odds are against us. Esther approached the king, and to her relief, he extended his golden scepter, granting her an audience. With grace, she invited Xerxes to a banquet, where she planned to reveal Haman's plot. The king accepted, and Haman, feeling honored, attended with great pride. At the banquet, Esther revealed her Jewish identity and Haman's scheme to destroy her people. Xerxes was enraged and demanded Haman's punishment. Moral lesson: standing up for what is right can bring justice. When we speak the truth, we align ourselves with God's purpose. Haman's downfall was swift. He was executed on the very gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. In that moment, the tide turned. Esther and Mordecai were given authority to write a new decree, one that would protect the Jews. They celebrated their victory with great joy, and the Jewish people began to defend themselves against their enemies. Moral lesson: God can turn our despair into hope. Even in the midst of danger, His plans for us are to prosper and not to harm us. The Jews of Susa, emboldened by Esther's courage, stood firm in their faith. They celebrated their deliverance with a festival that would be remembered for generations. This event became known as Purim, a time of feasting and joy, commemorating the survival of the Jewish people against overwhelming odds. In the lessons of Esther, we find themes of courage, faith, and divine intervention. She was an ordinary girl who became an extraordinary leader. Her story reminds us that we are never too small to make a significant impact. God places each of us in situations where we can choose to act for the good of others. As we reflect on the book of Esther, we see how God's hand was present throughout the story. He worked behind the scenes, guiding events to fulfill His promises. Even when His name is not mentioned, He is there, orchestrating the lives of His people. We learn that our circumstances do not define us, but our choices do. God's faithfulness stands at the heart of Esther's story. He listens to the cries of His people and responds to their needs. His timing is perfect, and His plans are far greater than our understanding. Like Esther, we may find ourselves in difficult situations. Yet, we can trust that God is with us, guiding us to make a difference in the world. In our own lives, may we have the courage to step out in faith. May we remember that even in the shadows, God's light shines bright. Just as He used Esther, He can use each of us for His glory. We are all part of His grand narrative, woven together to fulfill His purpose. Let us carry the lessons from Esther's life into our own. Let us remain steadfast in our faith, act with courage, and trust in God's unwavering faithfulness. For every challenge we face, we can take heart, knowing that God is always at work, even when we cannot see it. So, as Esther did, let us rise to the occasion and embrace the call to be a beacon of hope in our world.